welcome back to another Heroes of Might and Magic 5 tier list with the tier 5 units. This is the final tier 5 Heroes of Might and Magic creatures tier list we're going to be doing, so we are getting ready for Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. So I'm finishing up just all of this, all my dual mode series, finishing up these final tier lists with all the creatures. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course let me know down in the comments where you guys would place your favorite and least favorite Heroes of Might and Magic tier 5 creatures, as well as where I placed mine. I think this is arguably one of the strongest tiers in the game with all these creatures. They're so good, except for one. This is probably one of the worst units in the game. Then we're going to go ahead and start with the priests. I think they are easily the worst tier 5 in the game, but definitely one of the worst in the game as well. Yeah, just super lack of damage. Their spells, while not terrible, they're just not good. Like when I think of, spells, I'm thinking like Mage Fireball, Druid Lightning Strike, even, Leech with the Decay, or just there's a whole lot of spell casting from pretty much so many other units that are so much more helpful than theirs. Again, they're not bad, but the lack of damage output, the super insanely mid casting, they're pretty defensive. I'll give them that. They got more health than you think, but they're just not good. Fucking terrible. Easily the worst tier 5 in the game by far. On the flip side of that, I would honestly put the Rune Priests up into S. I think the Rune Priests are fantastic, super high damage, very good casting units in the game. I think the upgrade, whether you switch from Fireball, Firewall, and the cross attack, or just a line attack, I think either one of them is great. The non-upgraded one just doesn't have a lot of that, so it just kind of obviously makes them better. But Rune Priests are super good. Honestly, again, pretty decent defensively for a backline unit, and definitely insanely good attack as well as casting. So definitely S tier worthy for sure. Gens are just inconsistent. Let's just go with that. They are pretty inconsistent units that are, I'll put them base 1 in B, and I'll put the upgrades in A. I do think that there's utility there. I think the flying helps. I think the casting from either side can be useful. Overall, again, I just don't think the consistency there. Sometimes I'll play with or against gens, and they feel really good, like they really, did something, and then other times they feel like some of the weakest units in the game and just got clobbered and didn't really do much. So that's just me. I feel like they're inconsistent. They're not bad units for sure. I've always liked gens. I just, again, the consistency isn't there, and the utility isn't fantastic utility such as like the Rune Priests have. It just kind of can be helpful in larger fights, or if you need to cast instead of attack or something, but still not bad. We'll go with the Hell Chargers next. I think we're just gonna go B and double A again. Not bad, I just don't really think they have anything that gets them to that S tier. Very good movement. They have pretty good attack, especially because of the movement. Decent defense, but I don't really think they have anything that gives them that oomph to S tier for me. You could, and I really wouldn't argue with you about it, but I would say that they're a very solid, strong A. Definitely not like A minus. I'd say they're probably just straight A, maybe A plus, but like in there for sure. I just think the lack of doing anything extra really gives them that like oomph to S tier. I know obviously when they attack they cause some utility there, but I just don't think it's really like enough to do much anything extra. At the same time, since I think unicorns are the exact, basically same unit, just different town and look, I might have to put them into the same area. Again, they can move insanely far. They can do pretty good damage. I think they're pretty decently defensively. I think they have some utility when they do attack, but as far as getting them into S tier, I don't really think that they do that. I just think that they work very, very well with the Sylvan faction and how they are built. They have unicorns and Trents out front for tank and entanglement, and then druids and hunters in the back, doing some devastating damage. And then, I mean, I guess you could throw dragons up there to tank as well. And then sprites and blade dancers to just kind of, do what they can. Throw some utility out there and get some good stuff. But I think unicorns are very, very strong, very, very solid. Again, if you put them in S tier or argued for it, I wouldn't really argue against you. They're that good, but that like X factor to get into S for me from them is just not really there. And honestly, I would say the same for these leeches. I think we're staying pretty consistent here, just going like very strong, solid. I honestly, okay, I'm gonna put the other leech into S, and here's why. One, leeches are decent. They're nothing crazy. I think obviously, again, much like all necropolis creatures that I've said so far, being undead is just naturally helpful. I would say that their attack is decent, their defense is decent, neither is super great. I think the utility from them definitely comes from the casting. And more than that, for this one is the Death Cloud. I think the Death Cloud it's not amazing, it's not an S tier utility that they have, but it can be super, super helpful. I think, if you got groups of enemies and you're shooting, like, go for it, man. Like, it's gonna do some extra free, pretty good damage against multiple units too. You got a big clump, or they're a couple grouped up in the back line of your enemy. Like, they're gonna be pretty helpful there. Their shots are pretty low, but again, I think their shots are definitely low because they have some good casting, and this one for me is definitely better casting. While this one has Raise the Dead, those Raise the Dead are going to go away after the fight, so for me it's not as useful as far as being able to just hit Decay on somebody. Obviously the Decay is not going to be amazing, and sometimes Raise the Dead is better, but that Death Cloud definitely gives them the oomph over this leech, and I think into S tier because of it. Pretty good attack, pretty decent defense, and being undead kind of helps with that. Can cast, and their cast is pretty good, and then the Death Cloud for some utility on top of all of that is just kind of enough for me to throw them in S, compared to this one, because this one then does not have Death Cloud, which, I think that's it's literally a free benefit, so it's either different casting but Death Cloud, or just different casting and not, so I know which one I'm taking personally. Oh, and then we'll go Hydras. Honestly, I think Yeah, I think Hydras are probably A and S. Biggest reason why, they have pretty damn good movement, actually pretty great movement, honestly, for a large creature. Um, can hit multiple units no matter which version, even the base can hit multiple units, which is great. And then as the upgraded version, you're either going to do poison defense, so if somebody melee attacks you, they take some poison damage. Um, it's not amazing, but it's there, you know. It's a little extra for you. Um, and then this one, per turn, they gain some hit points, which inevitably can get them some lives back if they're not losing any or, you know, keeping themselves alive. So I think Hydras are super good, can be super devastating on attacks. Um, I will say that even so, even though they can hit so many units, their attacks are they're kind of mid, like they're not amazing, you know. Like when I think of hitting multiple attacks, if you think of the Blade Dancers being able to hit multiple, like those feel very devastating even as a tier 2 creature, and Hydras don't really have that, but they can hit just as many. But I definitely think that they make up for it in defense. They're pretty defensive for sure, way more than the Blade Dancers, obviously. So as far as just kind of like basically, which Hydra upgrade defensively do you want? Do you want to be able to gain heal points and heal yourselves, possibly some lives, or have the defense of if somebody melee attacks you, they take some poison damage? It's up to you. I prefer this one, that's just me. But very good units overall. And then we have the Chieftains. I like the Chieftains. I think they're pretty fucking devastating. This one with the cleave and retaliation, I think deserves an S. It can be super devastating. While they look like large creatures, they only take up one tile, which I think is super nice. Honestly, I think they did that because I don't think any team has. Actually, Academy has 3 large creatures. So, but most don't have 3 large. Actually, a lot do. Now that I think about it, pretty much every single one does except Stronghold. Actually, interesting. Um, Nonetheless, I think we're gonna go this route. I still think they're pretty good defensively, but it's pretty mid. To me, it's kind of like a little bit higher mid on defense. Attack, though, is definitely very good. The Blood Rage can definitely play a huge factor in how successful they are or can be. And I think they have a little bit of utility just with the cleave that he has and everything like that. I think Chieftains are um, if they go unchecked, they're gonna shred. Let's just put it that way. Which, you know, you could say that for pretty much any creature, so that's not a big thing to say, but I think that because of their high amount of movement, their pretty good initiative, their high damage output, that they can be pretty devastating. Um, and then if you get some Blood Rage going on top of that, they're going to really do some damage. So that is my final Heroes of Might and Magic 5 tier 5 creatures tier list. Big mouthful there. Need some water. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments where you guys would place your favorite and least favorite creatures. Not only these ones, but everybody else. So be sure to check out all of my other creatures tier lists and still more to come. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.